I just had to go through the budget so you don't have to. And let me tell you, it's bad, real bad. These massive deficits have sent interest charges soaring. Interest charges on the federal debt will cost taxpayers $54 billion this year. Okay, so interest charges on the debt will cost you, dear taxpayer, more than $1 billion every single week, which means that interest charges this year are costing taxpayers more money than what the federal government will send to the provinces in health transfers. $54 billion hit just in interest charges on the debt this year. Now, the federal government is trying to frame this budget as fairness for every generation. Well, hold on a second. How is doubling the entire federal debt that the Trudeau government has done, how is that fair for Canadians' kids and grandkids who are going to be hammered by massive tax increases if the government doesn't actually cut spending? Now, the deficit. This year's deficit, $40 billion. We're not in a pandemic. Why is the federal government borrowing $40 billion? And you guessed it, folks, there's absolutely no plan to balance the budget. In fact, the best that this government is willing to do is, hey, wait a couple years and we'll bring down the deficit to $20 billion. It's absurd. The debt is now $1.2 trillion plus. And when Trudeau first came to power back after the 2015 election, the debt was about $600 billion. That means that this year, Trudeau will have officially doubled the entire federal debt. And why is the debt ballooning? Why are deficits ballooning? Why are interest charges on the debt costing taxpayers more than $1 billion every single week? Because the government is spending out of control. Okay? Remember, Freeland once said that they would find $15 billion in savings over a handful of years. Well, this year, they're increasing spending by $30 billion. So newsflash for the finance minister, any of these politicians over here behind me, if you increase spending by more than $30 billion in 1 year, you're saving money wrong. And guess what? More tax hikes, okay? So the federal government is increasing capital gains taxes. Now that's going to bring them about $6.9 billion extra, cost taxpayers $6.9 billion extra this year. Well, we did the math, and the way that this federal government is spending, they're going to blow through that cash before they hit the bars on Friday night. Less than a week, they already blow through that cash, right? Because here's the thing. This government could win the lottery every single day and still max out the credit card. Because guess what? Their problem isn't revenue. They have a spending problem. This government has no plan to reduce spending. It has no plan to balance the budget. The only plan that this government has is to try to take as much money away from taxpayers, from you, as they possibly can. So let's go through the numbers one more time. Interest charges on the federal debt will cost taxpayers $54 billion this year, or more than $1 billion every week. The deficit, $40 billion, no plan to balance the budget, and the debt will have officially doubled under the Trudeau government. So you know what I would have to say to Mr. Trudeau? It's time to put down the credit card and pick up the scissors.